All right, let's talk a little bit about solving a real-world problem. You can use substitution to find the solution of a real-world problem involving constraints modeled by a system of equations. What on earth does that mean? Well, let's check it out. The store sold a total of 125 car stereo systems and speakers in 1 week. The stereo system sold for $104.95 and the speakers sold for $18.95. The sales from these two items totaled $6,926.75. How many of each item were sold? Well, the first thing we got to do is define our variables and set up equations. So let C equal the number of car stereo systems sold and T equal the number of speakers sold. So the two equations are C plus T. So the total sold, C and T represent the number of each item sold. So C plus T should equal 125. And then that's the amount, the number of them sold. And then talking about money, 104.95 times C is the total sales for just the car stereos. And then 1895 times T would be 1895 times the number of speakers. So that will give you the total for the speakers. And then if you added those together, it should give you the total sales. So C plus, like I was saying, C plus T represents the combinations of car stereo systems and speakers with a sum of 125. The other equation represents this combination of car stereo systems and speakers with the sales of $6,926.75. The solution of the systems will give you the C comma T instead of X comma Y, will be C and T. And that will represent the option that meets both of the constraints. In other words, the number of car stereos and the number of speakers that they would need to sell. Okay, so solve the first equation for C. So subtract T from both sides, and you get C equals 125 minus T. Substitute 125 minus T for C in the second equation. So there's C. So I'm going to substitute 125 minus T in. Then distribute your 104.95. So distribute here into the T. And you have the 1895T. And you combine your like terms here. And 104.95, negative 104.95 plus 1895 gives you 86 minus 86T. Then you're going to subtract the 13,000 number from both sides. Then you're going to divide by the negative 86, and you get T equals 72. So that means so far that the number of speakers sold is 72. Well, if the total is 125, I could just substitute 72 into the C plus T equation and subtract 72 from both sides, and you get 53. And so the store sold 53 car stereo systems and 72 speakers. All right, guys, that's it for this section. Please continue on to your assignment. As always, reach out if you have any questions, and take care.